I received a message that really hit an issue that I am so passionate about, and I wanted to share it with all of you. My program uses group calls. I have 12 people in my program now, and I leave the group calls exhausted, I'm sure. I regret setting up my business with group activities. Sometimes it's like a free for all, and I don't feel like I'm actually delivering the service that I want to. Last week, I was so fed up, I thought of giving everyone a prorated refund, oh boy, and shutting it down. I read on your profile that you only work one to one. How do you scale a business that way? Awesome question. So, as an introvert, I knew when I started my business that there was not a snowball's chance in hell I was going to set it up with group activities. I don't like doing them as a leader, and I don't like doing them as a participant either. Possible controversial statement coming here. So often, those group programs turn into the blind leading the blind, and they turn into people trying to pitch themselves and kind of puff their chest out and seem important. They also have the tendency to encourage people to hang on to limiting beliefs. So if somebody needs a good kick in the pants to get out of their comfort zone, or to use more powerful language, or to aim higher, or to have better production goals, if they're in there with other people who are still trapped in a limiting mindset, it's a lot more difficult to give them that oomph, that gusto that says, okay, instead of trying to bill 200K this year, I want to go for 300, or I want to go for 500. Now, in some settings, people do encourage each other. Iron does sharpen iron. But in my experience, those types of scenarios are few and far between. It typically ends up that people who have paid to have the guidance of an expert wind up getting the crap end of the stick, because instead of interacting with the expert whose program they bought and paid for, they're just all interacting with each other. To me, there's a time and a place to be social. There's a time and a place to chew the fat and hang out. But there's also a time to work. There's a time to get laser focused and put the work in, because without it, things are not really going to change. Yes, you have to do the mindset work. Yes, you have to really start thinking about what you want to attract and line up with it. And then in order to line up with it, you have to put the work in. And unfortunately, I think in a lot of these group settings, it just doesn't go down that way. Like, no offense, but I don't care that Sandy's dog pooped in the carpet last night. I don't want to hear what your kids are doing. I'm not here for that. There's a time and a place to do that kind of stuff on Facebook and to hang out, and then there's a time to get focused and do your work. And I think that's one of the worst things about those group activities is it devolves into people limiting each other, the blind leading the blind, and too much socializing. And that's probably one of the reasons why you're exhausted. I mean, having to try to coach or consult or whatever it is you're doing with these 12 people, that's a lot. That just even thinking about it makes me tired. So, yes, there are ways to scale your business one to one. Now, there are coaches and trainers out there who recommend that people do these low touch, high volume types of sales. And it's really just because they perceive it as being easier on the coach. I really recommend that you stay the hell away from anybody that tries to put limits on you and talk you down. Major thumbs down on that kind of crap. So they'll tell you, if you interact with 12 people, you make more money. You don't have to do it as often. You can just herd everybody in like a cattle call, put them in a group activity scenario, and then you're only talking to each person for 5 minutes. Well, when you're the person who's paid good money for that program because you want to engage with that expert and you're only getting to do it for 5 minutes in a group context, it sucks. And I'm going to call it what it is. I think it's a ripoff. That's one of the other reasons why, I want to be able to engage with people one-on-one and focus on them one person at a time so that I can fully be present and really give them the time and the space and energy that they've paid for. In terms of the scalability of that, think of it this way. If you're wanting to bill 200K per year, if you're charging $2,000 for your program, and these are just arbitrary numbers I'm using, if you're charging $2,000 for your program, you're going to have to onboard 100 freaking people per year to be able to do that. So yeah, I can see where somebody would want to run their business like a cattle chute. Whereas if you started to charge 5, 10, or 20K for your program, suddenly the picture changes and you're not having to onboard so many people and you're not having to put them in group activities just to be able to deliver your service to them. I hope you find that helpful. If anyone watching this has any questions or they would like to level up and get out of the cattle call way of running a business, I'm more than happy to talk about that. Bye for now.